Welcome, everyone, to another week of the Really Big Fan Podcast. I am your host, ChZuck, joined as always by my wife and co-host, ACRONYM.
What up, though?
And we're here to, I want to say before we get started, if it looks a little smoky in here, ACRONYM did not smoke this morning. It's just the air.
Yeah, the air outside is bad. Like, this is that moment where people could be like, it's like Silent Hill, but...
Yeah, no, it started like, I want to say yesterday afternoon is when I first noticed it, when I looked outside and went, what the hell?
My friend Alex, who is a photographer in Chicago, was saying she's having a hard time breathing outside over there.
Yeah.
They are the worst in the country right now. We're number two. We're number two. We're number two. So...
Yeah, so
it's things to be proud of.
But. No, it's crazy outside, but it's crazy in the world of nerds and whatnot, and that's where we go when we start the show with headlines. So, starting off on, I guess, let's start with the movies. The Flash came out 2 weeks ago. We still have not gone to see it because it's probably going to hit HBO Max any day now.
I don't really care.
Yeah, that's fine. But the second week in the box office for The Flash, not great. They're saying that the only other superhero movie that's done worse than this in its second week is Morbius.
And the fact that Morbius is beating them out is pretty great, to be honest.
So Morbius saw a 73.8 drop off in the second week. Flash is just a straight up 73%.
Yikes.
That's...
Yeah.
Woo. Woo. I've heard, you know what, people that I've come to the comic store that have seen it had said they really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But...
I don't know. Like, it's a combination of things. It's people thinking, like... they should have done something about Ezra Miller and this shouldn't have happened.
Right.
There are people like me who are going, I don't want to see Michael Keaton do that again and poorly. Why would I?
You are in the minority.
I am in the minority.
It is a nostalgia trip for everyone that lived through Batman 89.
Yeah, I was one. So, okay, I didn't live through that.
No.
I was barely conscious.
How dare you not be paying attention to the Michael Keaton Batman movie at the tender age of 1 year old?
Okay, this is the argument I had with Mike Chait yesterday because he said something to me about the very early Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mike, I was 4. And he's like, well, I was like 6 or 7. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have been watching that.
I was like 12.
I know. Yep. So that's why I have a blind spot. Therefore, I don't have nostalgic feelings over Michael Keaton's Batman. I'm a bad person, apparently. It's fine.
Well, just add that to the list.
Yes, exactly. Reasons why I'm a bad person.
You've seen the first Ninja Turtles movie since we've lived together, haven't you?
No.
The live action one?
No.
Wow, really?
Yeah. You don't watch that stuff with me ever.
Well, I don't watch it a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, the only thing I've ever seen you watching is the cartoon. And, I absorbed a very specific episode of the cartoon.
A very specific episode. There was a greenhouse involved.
Yes. And me just thinking, like, this is how they get weed.
Right.
Anyway.
So, with Flash doing so poorly in the box office in its second week, you'll never believe what movie did really well. Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Still killing it in the theaters. However, what was the website that did a website did an interview with 4 crew members of Across the Spider-Verse. It was vulture.com, and they talked about how in order to get that movie out, over 100 animators quit during the production, and the animators that were still there were working 11-hour days, 7 days a week to get that movie out. They also said that there is no way we're getting the next Spider-Verse next year.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I would rather them hold until they could, do it in a time frame that makes it better. Don't rush it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all in agreement when it comes to whether it's video games or music or whatever our entertainment medium is. It's like, don't kill yourself making it. Just make it good.
Yeah.
And when it's ready, kind of thing. So we'll probably be waiting for the next Spider-Verse movie, but I don't know. Like I said, like you said, I'm pretty okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with waiting. I
What do you
got some for you. So I actually text a friend of the show, Erica, about this because I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take for on your side to see this, but I am on Fallout Boy Twitter like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on a little bit quicker. Fallout Boy decided to update We Didn't Start the Fire.
Oh, no.
And with events from the past 30 years.
Is that out now?
Yes, it is out as of this morning.
I'm going to have to listen to that.
They teased it yesterday, and it was when I sent it to Erica, and I was like, keep an eye on this one.
Yeah.
But they decided that they were going to add things from, like, the 90s, the 1000s, 2000s. So it name drops things like Kurt Cobain dying.
9/11's got to be in there.
Yep. Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man go really quick, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
Mentions Taylor Swift and Kanye West, the school shootings.
Sure.
Like, just a bunch of stuff is in there. Some good and some things that you'd like to forget, but
Sure.
these are things. So Pete Wentz had tweeted out a series of, like, I've been thinking about this for a long time and been trying to, like, how do I order this or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is also a funny exchange that I had with Erica. Was she had texted me and goes like, so Pete is the lead singer. And I go, no, like, or not, she didn't ask me if he was the lead singer. He's the front man, essentially. I said, yes. So Pete is the bassist, yet he is the front man. Patrick does zero shit to be the front man except sing. So, and like half the time, Pete is the one doing the lyrics.
So when we went and saw them live, who played the piano?
Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought that guy, it looked like he was doing a majority of the singing, so I thought he was the front man.
Yeah, no, this is one of those weird situations, and this is where it came in, where Erica comes in and she goes, I want Nikki Sixx and Pete Wentz to sit down and interview about being the front men, but also being the bassist.
Yeah.
Because it's a very weird juxtaposition.
They could do, you remember that cool video that was like, it was Jack White and the guy from Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
And what was it? Edge from U2, and they were all just sitting there with guitars and stuff. They could get Geddy Lee and just recreate that video with them.
Yeah, that would be great,
Yeah.
honestly. So yeah, that one's out right now and streaming. It's got newsworthy items from 1989 to 2023.
Interesting.
So it'd definitely be interesting to listen to. I only got through one listen of it before we started today, so I don't know what everything is yet, but I'll definitely be listening to it a couple more times.
So I was thinking about this because I've kind of secretly become a Fall Out Boy fan.
Yeah.
In the last, decade or two. When the first Rock Band game came out, there was really shitty discourse between Guitar Hero 3 fans and the original Rock Band fans about who had the worst song. And the song that was labeled as the bad song in the original Rock Band game was Dead on Arrival by Fall Out Boy. That was the song that all the Guitar Hero Rock Band people were like, this song's garbage. And then I played it on the drums and it was fucking fun.
Yeah, you know what it is it's just it's so pop punk that, guitarists are not going to think it's cool.
That's the funny thing, too, is I cannot remember which song it was in Guitar Hero 3 that everyone pointed to. And it's like, yeah, well, you guys got to play that song. That's garbage. I do not remember what song it was.
Like, I Don't Care or something like that, given the era that it came out in.
It wasn't a Fall Out Boy song. It was like another pop punk band.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'll have to look it up.
I have no idea. But yeah, it definitely is definitely worth listening to. Like I said, you've got MySpace gets mentioned, the Black Parade gets mentioned.
Excellent.
The Chicago Cubs, which is their hometown, in their World Series drought, bringing up Captain Planet. Like, there's just a bunch of funny stuff in there.
That's fun.
So, yeah,
I like that.
Be good.
What else you got?
There was a clip going viral of the Queens of the Stone Age set from Glastonbury, and I have watched this thing like multiple times now because it like I want to be there so bad while simultaneously not wanting to be in that crowd. Is the weirdest thing ever.
Okay.
So there's a circle pit happening.
Yeah.
Like
which song are they playing?
Oh, A Song for the Dead.
That makes sense.
So it's the last song on the set. Everybody's getting a hype. They've gone through all of the stuff that they already had played or whatever, and they get to the last moment, and there's like a circle pit forming, and Josh says, wait a minute, I've not done shit yet. Stop for a second. Stop. I haven't done shit. I run this fucking place. You don't go until I say go. And it just like the whole thing is unleashed. There is a man in this photo that like I need to post this on our Instagram because he's just losing his mind. It's like a deranged MJF.
He looks like Colt Cabana.
I mean, the pit just starts going crazy, but it's like, you know, that intro guitar riff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're losing their mind.
Hell yeah.
Right? And then it just unhinges, and it's so great to watch. So if you have not watched that clip and you need a little blast of rock and roll serotonin, I highly suggest watching that.
I remember, I think it was when like Clockwork came out. I was kind of disappointed because there was only like one real rock banger on that album.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and saw them live and realized, oh, they don't have to write any more fast rock songs.
Yeah.
They've got a great library of fast rock songs they can play for the rest of their careers. Now they can just write stuff to breathe between them.
Yeah, and I noticed that because I looked up the set list. I was trying to see what else they played. And it's like, there's only 2 songs from Villains on that entire set list.
That stinks.
And I'm like,
you love that.
Yeah, it was like Evil Has Landed and Like You Used to Do, which,
yeah.
like, I was kind of curious if he'd even play that because it seems like it was about Brody.
Sure.
So, like, I was kind of like, I don't know if he's going to. And those were the ones that I saw on there. And I was like, yeah, because I was supposed to go to the Villains concert with one of my friends, and last minute her husband wanted to go, so I got booted.
Right.
And it's like the biggest regret ever
that
I didn't get to go to that show because that's the album I attached to so hard. So, but like seeing that, I was like, oh man, I want to be there, but also that's a lot of people.
I'm sure they still put on a fantastic show.
Oh yeah, I'm really hoping I can either shoot that or at least go to it when it comes through town. So they are definitely coming through Detroit.
Yep. Yeah, I think in September.
Yeah.
I got one more, and it's about Sunday's AEW. I almost said Fight Forever. That's the video game. AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door. We watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. It was weird for us because we're not a New Japan household like Erica's household is. So like half the guys we didn't really know. But Bryan Danielson in the main event with Kazuchika Okada. Let Erica know I said it correctly. Broke his arm and then continued to wrestle the rest of the match, like another 10 minutes. He figured he'd fractured his forearm. Well, his wife, Brie Bella,
Brie
Garcia put out the photo on the X-ray on her Instagram yesterday, and it is broken. It is broken ass bone in that forearm. And I already really appreciated Daniel Bryan as a wrestler, especially having lost him for a decade and then him getting to come back. But between that and then watching the media scrum that goes on after an AEW event and watching Bryan Danielson with a broken arm answer questions for like 20 minutes and still be funny Bryan Danielson.
I'm voting.
Good guy Bryan Danielson.
He was on something.
Like,
how do you sit through that being in that much pain? That's crazy to me.
There was no muffins involved. There was no
Thank God.
running down anybody in the company. If you haven't watched that, I highly encourage you because it's a new level of respect I have for that guy. I think he may be the best wrestler in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
After this weekend.
Yeah, I can definitely attest, and that was one of the things where I don't know a ton, but as I was looking through after the match and stuff, I obviously with Japan wrestling, you'd have more situations that are ending in honor in my brain.
Yeah.
And the last person to tap out, is it Okada?
Yeah.
Was Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, and it was
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So that is like a sign of respect in my head.
Absolutely.
To Bryan Danielson as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he was the one that got to tap him out because
it's a funny event.
They hold those things so highly indifferent than they do in just WWE.
And it's a funny event too because you are one company versus another. Every match is one company versus another kind of thing with a little bit of crossover. But you tend to hear stories about wrestlers and companies and how I don't want to take the loss if it doesn't mean anything or that kind of thing. So for two companies to come together and put together an event that is just beneficial for the fans, no matter who's winning and losing, but also still moving forward storylines for both companies is pretty good.
Yeah, because the other big one was Will Ospreay and
Kenny Omega. Yep.
And those guys, when they were done, were basically like, holy shit, like that was amazing. Like they were so proud of what they did.
Yep.
And I think that's the only time I've ever seen Will Ospreay say something positive.
Yeah. No,
so there's that.
That's the really funny thing in the Bryan Danielson interviews is that he's mostly just regular kayfabe Bryan Danielson, but then somebody asks him a question about like, would you want to fight Okada again? And he completely goes into character and is like, well, you know, if he just broke my arm, then I want to break his arm. So yeah, I'll go to Japan and fight him. And it's so funny to just watch him flip that switch on and off while he's it's not even a matter of, is he kayfabe or is he shooting kind of thing. It's literally a matter of like, you can tell when he's being real and when he's being the character.
Right.
And that's fun.
I'm going to run through a couple quick ones real quick. So we've got Jack Black doing a live performance of Peaches, which you watched.
With an orchestra.
Yes, with an orchestra, dressed in his green suit.
Yep.
So, of course, you know, gotta love Jack Black for that.
Fantastic.
I know when in April when the movie came out, that was the first time that Jack Black had ever hit a career solo on the charts for Billboard.
Yeah.
The only other time he's ever been on Billboard has been Tenacious D, and they peaked at 78.
Cage has been holding him back.
Yes, exactly. Right? Breeders announced a Last Splash 38th anniversary edition with 2023 tour dates. They will be coming through our area of Detroit. Unfortunately, we're not getting Screaming Females as the opener. No hate to Horse Girl, but I would definitely love to
Belly.
have seen.
It would have been cool to see Belly.
Yeah, you were definitely hype about. I only know that one song from Belly, and that is it.
Well, I know that the lead singer of Belly was on the second Breeders record. Like she was in the Breeders before Last Splash came out. That's a weird album too. When it first came out, didn't like it.
Yeah.
I could pick out 4 songs that were good and did not like it. And as I've gotten older, I've appreciated it as a whole more to the point where the last time we were in, what's the record store in Royal Oak?
UHF?
Yes. Last time we were in UHF, they started the record and I didn't want to leave because I just wanted to listen to the record.
And they added 2 B-sides to it. Go Man Go and Divine Mascus are new tracks that are coming as well. So they have a couple dates with the Foo Fighters in the middle of nowhere, and then Horse Girl, Screaming Females, and Belly. So that'll be interesting to see coming. And then Greta Van Fleet's frontman has announced they're part of the LGBTQ community.
Oh,
so
well,
that's
congratulations.
Awesome.
Happy Pride Month.
Just wanted to throw it out there. It's Josh I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Kiska? Yeah. So he has been in a loving same-sex relationship with his partner for the past 8 years. So he's just been kind of closeted this whole time. They're also about to hit the road with Starcatcher World Tour. So that'll be interesting to see them come through again. You know, if you can actually get in to photograph those guys because they're so big now, it's hard to get in.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting too because we all lost our minds when like their first EP came out.
Yeah.
We were all like, this is amazing. And then the album came out and it was kind of more of the same. And it'll be interesting to see.
A lot of people were kind of like,
yeah, like,
and
okay,
then they
we've
put
seen
out
this.
Another album right after that. Like, they didn't have any breathing room. Like, they put out 2 albums in like a year and a half or something. Took some time, so I think this is the 3rd album that they're doing. So we'll see how much different or if there's any difference within their sound or anything like that.
Right.
But, happy for Josh that he was able to come out. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my last one is Pokemon Center has a Team Rocket section of their store with Team Rocket clothing.
Okay.
And I was showing this earlier to Chuck, but we've got like there's t-shirts, there's hoodies, there's a windbreaker that goes
shorts
into like a pocket, shorts, socks, and they have it in like red and white, and they also have it in black and red. So if you're a huge Team Rocket nerd, you got some clothes to buy.
They've got a t-shirt with the Rocket R on it that is so huge.
Yes.
And it almost looks like the same font that Radiohead uses.
It does kind of look like the same font Radiohead uses.
But I
don't
love
think that you guys can really tell from here.
Yeah, you can kind of see it. I
sort of see it.
I love the giant R t-shirt. I love it so much.
So if you want to look like an evil Pokemon trainer, go to PokemonCenter.com and hit up the Team Rocket section.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, that wraps up our headlines this week. We've got a fantastic guest in my buddy James, who I podcasted with for quite a few years, and we're going to talk about his love of John Cena when the Really Big Fan podcast returns. Welcome back to the Really Big Fan podcast. And this week it's a little bit of a old homecoming for me, as a former co-host of mine is now our guest for our interview segment. Please welcome James to
hello. What's going on, you guys?
So cool to see you again, James. And
long time
when
no
we
see.
When we
long
started
time no podcast together.
When we started the Really Big Fan podcast, the idea was to talk to people who are really big fans, and you are a really big fan of multiple things, whether it be Taco Bell or you know, the Teenage Mutant
Volcano Menu's back today through the air.
But we figured we'd start at your biggest fandom, and that is your love for WWE superstar and movie star John Cena.
Ooh, yeah. Can you tell I'm a fan?
Just a bit.
You see that one right there?
Just a bit.
See that one right there? Can I show you some of my toys? How about this one?
I'm all here.
Yeah, all is John Cena's. He's doing some show and tell. It's a good thing we do the videos.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. That's the ultimate.
That is the ultimate John Cena with the hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell.
Did they ever make a character for his Transformers guy?
As John Cena? I don't think so.
For Bumblebee? He's like, I got my belt.
There we go. Okay, now we can start. Now start roll. Go ahead, start rolling now.
When it comes to the Transformers movies, they rarely do the humans. It's always all about the robots and the cars.
Ah, gotcha.
But they should have done a John Cena from the.
Did they ever make like a Shia LaBeouf action figure?
At one point they made larger Transformers that came with little dudes, but that was for like the first movie. I don't think they did that for Bumblebee.
Gotcha.
Because I mean, I try to get the Megan Fox action figure, for collecting reasons.
That's called a blow up doll, James.
No, those never feel like the real thing.
So where did you kind of like officially realize that you were a giant John Cena fan?
Dude, you know what? It's actually from him in the movies.
Yeah.
So before, like, I had like a love-hate relationship with wrestling. Like, I was really cool, and then at the time, like, I was trying to meet chicks, and then wrestling wasn't really the coolest thing to be into, so I wasn't into it. And at that point in time is when John Cena like became John Cena,
Right.
And I was like, who is this guy? He's got the spinning belt, like, what a D-bag. I'm like, I can't believe this is professional wrestling. So I thought he was like one of the lamest dudes. I'm like, he's trying to rap. Like, who is this guy? Right. And then I saw him in movies, and like his more of his comedic roles. And I think the one role that put it over the top for me was his role in Trainwreck, because he's literally in the movie theater making jokes about licking a bum hole. And I'm like, that's the type I would make a joke like that. I was like, John Cena can do it. And then not only that, he's like the most perfect specimen of a man. And I think that's when you see all of his muscles and a lot of his nooks and crannies is in that movie Trainwreck. And that's when I was like, God damn, I want to look like that when I'm naked. And I want to be able to say that same line in the movie theater and get the same reaction. But I think it was then. And then, doing more research and looking into his wrestling and stuff and kind of learning like the stuff behind wrestling, the people are just characters and just stuff like that. He might not be as much of a douchey guy as what I thought. Then you find out, his message, never give up. It's a very positive role model. He does a lot for Make-A-Wish. I'm like, damn, get to be a more perfect dude. I'm like, this is the guy I want to be like.
The dude has such crazy work ethic too. Like, he'll be presented with a challenge and he's like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like he learned to play the piano so he could pretty much do that scene in Peacemaker.
Right.
Like, he had already known a little bit about it, I think, like playing piano, but he was like, no, I'm gonna perfect this. I'm gonna do it. And it's like, it just seems like every time that there's something like that, even for a role, he's like, no, I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to have somebody else do it for me. Like, I really appreciate that about him for sure.
It's very disciplined. Like that's the one thing I don't have is discipline. Like he sets his mind to something. He's like, this is what I'm doing. And he sticks to it. Me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And then when the time comes around, I'm like, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow.
So there was a time when he was still a wrestler. There was a time where the crowd was largely sick of John Cena, where they like he was doing that kind of hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up stuff for so long that the crowd was like, we're done with this. Were you a fan during that period, and or were you with the crowd and kind of like, I don't know?
No, I literally by the time I got back into wrestling, it was like a pipe dream to even see Cena at a show. You know, like he was all movies, and all that. So I didn't see any of that stuff. And the only history of that I've seen is like watching some of the documentaries and stuff that WWE and A&E have been putting out, and things like that. But no, like really, the only stuff that I've seen in the ring, I would say would be like maybe a Royal Rumble within like the last few years. You know, the stuff he did with the Fiend, the Roman Reigns angle. What was it? Last SummerSlam, 2 SummerSlams ago. So that's really the only in-ring stuff from Cena that I've seen like now. It's not like a pay-per-view, not a pay-per-view, like a on-demand or a documentary type thing.
Yeah, and then that one show that we were all at in Detroit, you were at that show, right?
The house show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got like the perfect picture.
It was after the movie.
Yep. I snapped the perfect picture. He's in the background on the corner, standing up doing his thing. And it's like light is just shining down right upon him perfectly. And I had the perfect selfie. It was great.
So
not worth
like
what my wife talked me into paying for the tickets, but that moment was pretty cool.
So do you like more of the positivity, the hustle, loyal, respect than looking back at Dr. Thugonomics?
I think his Dr. Thugonomics stuff is hilarious. Like some of the stuff they would say in the WWE back then. But I think like in terms of role model stuff, like you know, with my son, and like we have John Cena toys and things for him, you know, mostly to appease dad. But you know, like the hustle, loyalty, respect, like that is like the type of angle I want to try to present to him. You know, like that's kind of the stuff I think he should try to embody and do. And it's like I feel like if you see more people would act like that, man, this whole place would be so much cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
True. It was funny because when I was first introduced to John Cena, I was introduced to like squeaky clean, kid friendly John Cena. And I was kind of having that thing where like the same thing with like face Roman Reigns, where I'm just like, stop shoving this guy down my throat. And then I saw the Dr. Thugonomics stuff and I was like, he was cooler back then. And I had like the complete opposite reaction to it. But like, I love him wholeheartedly overall. But that was definitely one of those moments where he's like, are you serious? Right. I'm like, no, I am.
She had a hard time believing how much we hated Thugonomics John Cena because that was heel John Cena.
Yeah.
But then eventually we just had to respect that he was just doing that off the top of his head. And he was good at it.
Yeah. Dude, that guy could write some Burns in rap version. So,
definitely.
I mean,
I think
he's got like a full album out, I think, anyways, too, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, I think it just hit a milestone of some sort too. Like,
it's just like 20 or 30 years old at this point.
There was like something like it hit like a certain certification of
like people are buying
like
quadruple platinum, baby.
Something like that.
So, would you say that Trainwreck is still pretty much your favorite John Cena movie? Exposure, or has another John Cena movie surpassed it for you?
I mean, I think he's great as Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I thought he was great, you know, in the Suicide Squad movie and, you know, the standalone series. But I mean, Trainwreck is really like, that's the movie that sold me, because I think then he was like a drug dealer in like the Sisters movie. I don't know, I forget the order. Maybe he was a drug dealer first in Sisters, and then he had the bigger role in Trainwreck. But whatever it was those two movies. Like seeing his role, I was like, this Cena guy's, I think he's kind of cool. You know,
felt,
and then-
like you'd found a kindred spirit.
Yeah. Oh, that, and plus it also plays so well into the like my pseudo character on David Chuck the Freak.
Sure.
You know, Mr. Homoerotic. I'm the dude that thinks you should be able to compliment another dude's package. You know, if it's like your bro, let him know package is on fleek, babes. You know, maybe don't say babes. Maybe don't say babes. Sorry, I'm used to talking to a little baby, so some of the baby stuff, baby talk comes out. But you know, so then being able to like admire this specimen over here, you know, like it just played in perfectly and it just fit. Dude, I got a shrine of him at the office that Austin Theory gave me shit for. You know, an interview that I did for the radio website that at work. So
I looked it up. It went platinum actually.
There you go.
Wow.
So yeah, it was released in 2005.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so we're coming up on the 20-year.
yeah,
I think
something
18,
like that.
Yeah, 18 years now.
But no other wrestler has a platinum selling album.
I think that's true. I do believe.
Well, because the Macho Man's did not go platinum.
It did not.
Elias's definitely didn't go platinum.
Oh my god, not a lie.
I tried. I streamed
He's
that.
like not. His whole face just went. Oh.
He sucks at guitar. I'm sorry, and I know, like me, even saying that he wins in the end because that's his whole goal. But it's like, oh my god, just stop, Elias. But yeah, Boogs does it, and I love it. So
Yes.
dude, and
Is
bring
there
Boogs back out with Shinsuke, man,
Yes.
with that guitar. Give him another fake ponytail and put a headband on him. Give me that Boogs back, man.
Do you have a favorite John Cena match?
Probably not really, but I mean, you got to go with one of the Rock matches. You know, probably like the first WrestleMania, Rock match where he goes down.
Right.
Only because you kind of figured the second match, and they're gonna repeat history again, and put him up and go over. But and just also the build up to that whole match, especially if you've watched the documentary, like the Rock was like, I think seriously pissed.
Yeah.
Cena, is just poking the bear.
That was the thing about him having the promo on the hand, right? Yeah.
Yep. When he called him out on I think it was Raw for having stuff written down on his palm.
Right.
So
Really interesting to see how everybody reacts to The Rock now.
Yeah.
Like after all of, and that's where the movie stuff is really interesting. Is like now I would really consider John Cena to be the main wrestler turned movie guy, and then Batista almost being that second in command.
Oh
now
yeah,
versus The
absolutely,
Rock.
yeah.
It's like after everything that happened with Black Adam and the studio, and it seemed like they were talking about like he kept trying to get sponsorships for his tequila and things like that. So like everybody's behavior has really changed toward The Rock over the last 2 years.
There's this weird thing, like him and John Cena are both in Fast and Furious 10.
Mhm.
It's coming out, and like there's this whole thing about
It's out already.
Vin Diesel. Oh, all right. There's this whole like Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson feud.
Yeah.
that you
I
hear
don't
about
think they
all the
like each
time.
other. Yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Not sure.
I don't know. I would love to ask John Cena if he has a problem with Vin Diesel.
Yeah. I feel like John Cena would be like, I don't really care because we're both here to make money. Like I think his whole mentality to be like Vin Diesel, if he doesn't like me, well, too bad. We got to film this movie, or then we're gonna go catch our paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, totally.
yeah.
And you never know now. It's like, I mean, like because these are former wrestlers, you never know when something is a work and when it's not anymore.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So there's always that too, to the point of like, there are some times where I'm like, this is a work or a shoot. I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah. They blur those lines.
So what would you say? I mean, you've bought tons of different John Cena merch, from t-shirts to action figures to the cardboard cutout behind you and the belt. What would you say is your favorite piece of John Cena merch, and what might be like the weirdest piece of John Cena merch that you've hunted down?
The weirdest and my favorite piece of John Cena merch. I would say like probably my favorite is the belt, because this is like the only like I think semi-authentic, real like belt. Somebody spent some money on this thing.
Yeah.
And I did not. I met a stranger in a church parking lot, and I got this gifted to me for free.
Wow.
I just had to risk the meeting, the encounter with the stranger in the church
Right.
parking lot.
Maybe getting murdered.
Yeah, I felt a bit safer because it was a church, if I'm being honest. I was like, this.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
If I do die, it's on consecrated ground. So
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe the church is like a sign, like, let it be. It's good. You're safe here. It's either that or it's going to be some sort of crazy radio stalker serial killer, and they know that I would find the church to be safe, and then lure me there to do all sorts of horrible things to my body.
Yep.
So, but I would say this is probably my favorite in terms of weird. Trying to think. Because like the weirdest thing at John Cena that I probably own is the sign that I made that says I'm a Cena sexual that I brought with me to a couple wrestling shows.
that's a great sign.
But and it has like John Cena. It looks like a 1990s like Valentine, like
Yeah.
WWE Valentine you'd have in elementary school.
Yeah.
So I designed it that way, which is strange that it suddenly come up missing. That could be my wife behind that. I couldn't
He's
find
like, I'm
it.
getting rid of this.
Yeah, I couldn't find it for that. I found pretty much all my stuff. I even got my little towel.
Nice.
Yes.
Did she pretty much? Did she draw the line when you wanted to name your son? You wanted to make his middle name John Cena.
Yeah, she wasn't down with that. So
Yeah, she's not.
we went with the next best option, which was James.
She's like, I'm not gonna let that happen at all.
Yeah. Well, I was like, well, John Cena's not the middle name, then it's obviously John Cena, right? The first name.
I can't
No.
remember if I told you this story or not, James, but when I was in California, I went to Chinatown and I found a CM Punk pop vinyl, which was really just John Cena's body of his pop vinyl, and they painted CM Punk's tattoos on John Cena's body.
Really? What?
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like, I got hyped because we have a friend, Tim, who's like really into CM Punk. So it was like, I found a CM Punk pop vinyl, and they're like, what? And then I sent it to them, and they're like, that's the body of John Cena with the head of CM Punk. And they had the CM Punk box.
Yeah.
Which was
So,
even weirder.
Was it like some sort of crazy bootleg that they're just trying to pass off?
Yeah.
Okay.
For $6.
Yeah.
I bought this and then relinquished it to Tim because he has a
Wow.
collection of weird bootleg toys.
Yes.
So it ended
Okay.
up going there. But I think that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. That was supposed to be
Well,
that
$6
is like John
though, that's
Cena
worth it.
adjacent.
Yeah. For $6, you can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Well, James, I'm super happy to be podcasting with you again. I'm super happy to have you on and talk about your love for John Cena. And I hope
Yeah,
we can
man.
have you back.
Wicka.
I'm hoping we can have you back very soon to talk about Ninja Turtles because that movie's coming out in August. But before we let
Absolutely.
you go,
Yeah.
before we let you plug something, we do a segment on the show called What Have We Learned? And we typically do it after we've talked to our guests. But I feel like I've come up with a game that you would actually be have a great time with.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off some lyrics. And Amy, you need to tell me if those lyrics are John Cena or not John Cena. But you have the secret weapon. You have James, a giant John Cena fan,
Oh no.
He's like, oh no.
to pitch in. So you can lifeline him the whole time and say, like, what do you think before you answer?
Okay.
All right.
I'm so bad with lyrics, and also John Cena is not number one on my playlist. if I'm
Well, and I've
being
never
honest.
listened to any of John Cena's music, so this is about
So
to be
unless the lyrics open with trumpet, blare, ba ba da pop.
yeah. I know.
Yeah, we are gonna be in trouble. Well, actually,
Do you have a
his
hat
lyrics are
somewhere?
all probably wrestling related.
I could put on backwards.
So
Oh,
unless
geez.
Chuck took up like a lot of time and he like wrote some weird like wrestling raps,
Yeah, this
I
is
think we might be able to figure this out.
This is just my
Now he's got on a hat.
I got
It's
my
getting
backwards
serious.
hat.
Oh, very
All
high
right.
times too. Perfect.
Yes, it's a high times hat.
here we go.
Can't think of a more
All
perfect
right,
fit.
so here's your first song. Here's the lyrics for your first song.
Okay.
The raw rhymer turning legends to old timers. My incisors like a viper biting through your one-liners. New Dead Man Inc. and we about to make you famous, taking over Earth and still kicking in Uranus.
Dude, I feel like
Yeah.
Is that
sounds
John
like
Cena or is that
Cena.
not John Cena?
I feel like that's got to be him.
Yeah.
That's the cheesiest wrestling rhymes
Yep.
known to man. That is the doctor of thugonomics himself. Please, I really hope I'm correct after I
Yeah,
sold
no,
it
I'm
that,
agreeing
like
with
that.
him.
That is
Yeah.
actually from the Thugonomics song.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
the Thugonomics song. So there you go. Nailed it. Well done. All right, let's try another one. Here you go. Don't you understand your own delusion? Or don't you understand your own confusion? Make up a fantasy in your little mind. Follow the leader. Let the blind lead the blind.
Macho Man.
Macho Man? Why do you say Macho Man?
I'm just guessing Macho Man because it sounds like something that he would say to Hulk Hogan. But
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not even
You
consulting.
know what?
James on this one,
Strangely,
really?
Not this one?
Strangely, I think what she said makes sense. I mean, I feel like it could have been Cena. I feel like it could have been Cena, but I do like the Macho Man theory.
So you are correct. It is not John Cena.
Okay.
It is actually lyrics from Triple H's My Time,
Oh, okay.
which
Yeah,
was
I
the
don't know that
Degeneration
one.
X guy.
Okay, yeah. I don't
Oh
know
my
that one.
gosh, the Rage Against the Machine ripoffs.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that version of Triple H's theme, so I only know King of Kings.
All right, I got another one for you here. You guys are 2 for 2. You're doing great. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you'll never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan.
I feel like that's Cena.
Yeah.
There's so much about it that I'm like, it seems like it almost seems like Chuck puts on like the Doctor of Thugonomics voice when he's doing the Cena raps. It almost feels like. So I think he's got almost a bit of a tell, you know.
I didn't realize I have a tell.
Yeah.
He's putting like a little extra stank on some of the words, like a,
No,
like
but
a, like a
I do
Boston
think,
accent there.
Yeah, the 3-second tan part is the thing that
Yeah.
that sounds the most like it to me. So I'm saying
John Cena.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is from
Yeah.
my time now.
Yeah.
Can't see me, my time is now.
Ooh, 3 for 3.
All right, man, you guys are cleaning up. All right, I got 2 more for you.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna run the table on this. Flash up on the scene like a brown crusader, blowing up screens like space invaders. Too much damage for one demand to manage, going 5150, speaking Spanglish.
No, definitely not John Cena.
I agree with her. I don't think it's John Cena either.
No, that one's too obvious. That's Rey Mysterio's theme.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Oh, because I'm like the brown, whatever you
Yeah,
said, brown.
Sam Brown and 5150 were the 2 calls on that
Yeah,
one.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
brown. I
well,
don't think he
yeah.
would
I
call
thought I
himself
might slip
brown.
it in there. I didn't want to make it too hard.
Yeah.
All right, last one. This, if you can get this one, you're 5 for 5.
All right.
Your boy's a bad man, and we invading the streets. Make unclever rappers scared. They be dropping the heat. Shock the world. Now I'm standing alone. I flip fools like them clamshell cellular phones.
Oh, I feel like he's putting
No.
the stank on. You don't think it's Cena? I don't know. I feel like Chuck is putting that stank on it again.
I mean, now he's just rapping in general. Like he's trying to.
Which nobody wanted.
Which nobody wanted. Nobody
I don't
wanted
know.
that.
I sent some of the stank.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like Cena to me.
No,
Well.
you should have went with the.
Who else is
with
going to
the
be
professional.
rapping about flipping clamshells?
Yeah, you should have went with the professional there.
Well, he wins. I lose. It's fine.
That is his song "Bad Bad Man" off of his album.
Yeah, that's awful.
There's a video for it where
Oh, no.
he is Hannibal from the A Team.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
And you know what? Platinum, baby.
Platinum
Straight
songs
to
like
the
that.
top.
Turn them
Platinum.
platinum. There's a song that's I have to look again. There's a song that's like got a swear word in the title, and I was like,
Oh my
whoa,
gosh.
Ooh, John Cena swearing.
this is absolutely not child friendly, John Cena.
And just
I
curse
am
words like
though,
ass.
very shocked that you didn't pull Macho Man lyrics and throw them at me.
I didn't think I should have.
How did you forget about Macho Man?
I absolutely should have, because the song. Oh, I tried to look up songs that you would know, but like I couldn't throw the Usos theme at you.
Oh yeah, no,
it's-
that one I'm gonna know immediately.
Got like 3 lines, and they're all "What up, Us?"
Well, and how many times have I listened to that? It's on my workout playlist.
Yeah, there's a song in his album called "Don't Fuck with Us."
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Wow, John.
Well
Excuse
then.
Ooh, so that's how they got that Suicide Squad role.
Right. Speaking of which, I know we don't talk a whole lot anymore, but if you get the opportunity, there's a Peacemaker comic that just had its second issue come out right now, and it is absolutely Peacemaker from the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like at one point he's talking to somebody. He's like, Batman's been beating up the same clown for 20 years. You know how many clowns I could beat up in 20 years? And
I
it's
love it.
like
I love it.
He's drawing.
Yeah, I love
just
when he
like
takes
John
shots
Cena.
at the other, like the primetime players in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's good
some of my
stuff.
favorite jokes.
James, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Hey, check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/whotheFisJC, and check out my print on demand t-shirt shop called I'dbuythatshirt.com. Get yourself
right.
something sharp.
This is not the last
Wowabunga
time
saves 15% off a $50 purchase or more. That's Wowabunga.
Nice.
50% off a $50 purchase or more.
29 or 2 for 50.
No. I can't go that cheap. I would lose money on that deal.
Not the
Maybe
last
not.
time I'll be bothering you to be on the podcast, James, but I always appreciate talking to you, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's always fun to catch up and chit chat with you guys. Best of luck with the really big fan pod. I hope
Thank
I lived
you.
up to the title. I was like, I can't go on the really big fan podcast and not look like a really big fan.
We appreciate
Remember, I met a stranger in a church parking lot and survived.
Well,
I
and
met a
that's the other-
stranger in a Walmart parking lot for a Taco Bell rug. True story. Save it for the next one.
Well, that's the other thing that's advantageous is that
I
they
lost.
just brought.
Sorry, I unplugged my earbud. I can't hear you guys. Sorry. Hold on. I gotta.
That's good enough. We can cut it there, right?
Yeah, right.
All
There we
right,
go.
we'll be back with our serotonin boost. The really
you
big
guys
fan
thought I was able to
podcast.
hear through the computer or something fancy. Nope. Okay, I'm sorry. Back again. Hopefully.
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Woof.
No, I was
All
about
right.
to say it's advantageous we had you on the podcast because they just put John Cena back in Fortnite as of yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I already own his skin.
Yeah.
It's funny. I got his skin like right before I got to actually play him in the game because my wife went into the hospital to have her baby. Right when that came out, I bought it, and then guess what? You're living in the hospital for 2 months, James, your boy. So, but sweet. I'm glad that he's back in it. I need to get in there. I need to get back into Fortnite and play.
The season pass this month. The last skin you unlock is Optimus Prime.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this Fortnite thing, and I played it on my Switch, and I have a blast.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're having fun. Do you
but I
play
was gonna-
the no build version?
Yep. Yeah, I play Zero
Perfect.
Build. and
Yeah.
it's awesome. But I was telling her, I was waiting for the season pass to spend money on Fortnite. And the day they put the season pass up was the same day they took the Spider-Verse skins off of the shop,
Oh no.
which I wanted. And they had, they've got an emote now for Master of Puppets, where like, if you start it and somebody comes in and emotes with you, they'll pick up an instrument and play with you. So you can have like a guitarist, a bassist, a drummer,
that's pretty cool. That's
and
cool.
a singer. And
Man,
they just
the
brought that back.
power of Netflix, man.
Yeah.
Seriously,
right there.
Metallica's all over the place. I'm actually staring at a poster right now of
Yeah.
Eddie. That
Wow.
I just got. It has ruled the world. And then there's the joke that everybody's like, people getting mad about people finding Metallica through Netflix need to stop complaining because you got your personality from Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I'm
Yeah.
like, accurate. Very accurate. All the ska.
Thank you very much, James. I really
Hey, no
appreciate
problem, guys. My pleasure. We'll talk to you next time.
it. Absolutely.
Taco Bell. Maybe we can have Taco Bell together.
Hell yeah. Welcome back to the Really Big Fan Podcast, and thanks again to James for hanging out with us and talking John Cena. Like I said, not the last time. I'm definitely going to be bugging him to be on the podcast. I mentioned last week that we now have ads in our podcast when you listen online on Friday mornings when those go up, but you can get an ad-free version of the podcast at the $5 tier over on our Patreon right now. And of course, you can also you can subscribe to our Patreon that way, or you can just, throw a couple bucks. We've got a couple of people that just throw us a couple dollars just because, but we appreciate all of it. And we appreciate everybody that watches us on Twitch. Before we wrap up the show, it's, as always, time for us to give you one last hit of serotonin in our serotonin boost. I take it you want me to start.
I can start. I figured something out already.
All right. Here we
This
go.
is me figuring out my serotonin boosts like right before we're supposed to do them. So by the time that this ends up on the podcast, I will have photographed Santana,
Hell yeah.
and that's gonna be awesome. I got my approval like maybe like 3 or 4 days ago, and I'm really stoked about it because of the fact that that's like the first concert I remember that I went to when I was younger. And it was like me and my best friend Casey, and we went with my mom and her boyfriend, and we all had pavilion seats, but we wanted to go run around. So we went up to the hill, and we were in 7th grade at this point, and we were just getting like contact high on the hill. Like we were just running around, like everybody on the hill was stoned and loving on each other.
Yeah.
It was very like that is as close as to Woodstock I will ever get.
I've been to so many concerts at Pine Knob and only had hill seats that when I get pavilion seats, I just want to be up on the hill.
Yeah, you feel weird about it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to be down here. I don't care that I'm this close. Like they got big screens. I
Yeah.
can watch the big screens.
Yeah, I don't mind it when I'm just like, if I've seen a band or whatever. Like when we went to see Weezer and Pixies, like
Yeah,
that was fine.
it was
Like, I
great.
like, this is fine. I'm totally cool with this. But like if I'm by myself or I'm not like hanging out with people,
Yeah.
like, I am irritated the whole time. Like, I have to be like sufficiently distracted to not want to be in the photo pit.
Yeah.
It's just a problem that I have.
So
I'm really stoked because being that I remember doing that, this is also at Pine Knob.
Yep.
So it's kind of a little full circle
Yeah,
situation
that's
for me,
cool.
which is awesome. And plus, I love Santana, and he gives great guitar face, and that's gonna be epic.
I'm only gonna want to know one thing when you get back, and that is the smooth still slap if Rob Thomas isn't there to sing it.
We'll find out.
Yeah. 'Cause there's no way he's not playing it.
Yeah, I would have to think he has probably like a like he's definitely got a full band.
Yeah.
So I would assume
Somebody
that
else-
somebody
he's
is
not-
trained.
He's not
to
dragging
sing.
Rob Thomas all over.
Well, no,
creation.
Rob Thomas is also on tour currently with Matchbox 20.
Right.
He's definitely not. Although that would have been a good if they would have had them on a festival lineup. That would have been a good
That would have been
passing
fantastic.
moment.
Well, that's what I was saying about that Queens of the Stone Age thing you talked about in the first segment. Is that like the Foo Fighters played that, and Dave played drums in the album "Song for the Dead" is on. So
Yeah.
it would have been neat if Dave came out and played drums on that one. But at the same time, they're
Dave played like 3 sets that weekend.
yeah.
too.
Well, come on, Dave,
Like-
quit slacking.
Like-
Only 3 sets.
Yeah, Dave played a surprise set at Glastonbury for Foo Fighters, and then who else did he play with? I forget. There were 2 other groups. Like he popped up.
That
for
wasn't
their set.
that wasn't the wet leg.
No, that was a
appearance,
long
it?
time ago. Yeah, the
Okay.
wet leg thing happened like a different festival, probably like 6 months ago or so.
Right.
But he popped up to play. I think he played with the Pretenders. was
Okay.
one of them.
That makes
He
sense.
played the drums on the Pretenders stuff,
Yeah.
and then I think he popped up somewhere else, if I'm not mistaken. I just don't remember where.
Dave's slowing down in his old age.
Oh yeah,
He can only do
Whoa.
3 sets.
It was the last set of the night. He was probably at home in bed, and I would not blame him.
Yes, I'm sure.
That poor man just going all day long. All right, what's yours?
Well, my serotonin boost this week is the amazing Grimace Shake TikToks that have permeated the internet. I have only just begun to see them in the last like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Every one of them is brilliant. It is a generation raised on Adult Swim. Like if you're not familiar, people, there's a Grimace from McDonald's is celebrating his birthday. They've got a purple shake that you can get as a Grimace Shake, and the Grimace Shake TikToks usually involve somebody wishing Grimace a happy birthday and taking one sip, and then there's a hard cut to them in some form of distress, looking like a dead body with Grimace Shake all over themselves.
Yeah, I've seen people drawing the Spider-Man characters,
Yeah,
having them. I've seen people draw Fallout Boy,
yeah,
having them, and like very distinctly, because like somehow they still look like Fallout Boy even though their back is turned to you, because essentially they're face down,
yep.
covered in Grimace Shake. But like I knew no context for it whatsoever, so I was just like, okay.
So yeah, when I was seeing them, I was like I said, this isn't a generation raised on Adult Swim. This is like a weird ass Adult Swim kind of thing. But actually, I was doing a little looking before the show, and there is a video game called Dragon Ranpa that has like a couple of volumes in it. And in that game, there's a group of high school students playing something called the Death Game.
Mhm.
And whenever they show one of them dead, the blood is pink.
Oh.
So it's kind of subtly a reference to that.
Yeah.
Whether people know they're referencing it or not, or whether they're just seeing a funny TikTok and then having an idea for making their own Grimace Shake TikTok. But yeah, they're brilliant. And if you have any Grimace Shake TikToks to share with us, please do on our socials at Really Big Fan Pod, because I am absolutely enjoying them.
Yeah, that wasn't my favorite out of all of them. There was one that I saw, though, that was talking about Grimace it being his body and his bread. And they like photoshopped him
This
into
is my
the
blood,
list.
and it's the
There was My Chemical Grimace.
yeah, it's this
Which showed both versions of Grimace on either side and in the My Chemical Romance setup.
yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
like,
there's
this is my blood and this is my body, and the body was hash browns.
yeah, something like that. Well, and I saw somebody else tweet. I had thought I'd retweeted it, but I guess I didn't. There was one where it was like, "This is my body," and it goes, "What is the bread? What is the bread, Grimace?" So yeah.
So yeah, follow us on social media at Really Big Fan Pod, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, where we're blowing up with our
No,
yeah,
Instagram is where we're blowing up.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Our
Yeah,
Instagram is
I
blowing up.
need to get on the TikTok. I posted one video to our TikTok and then forgot about TikTok for like 3 months on my
That's
own
okay.
stuff,
I got a new phone this past weekend, and you sent me a TikTok, and I had to re-download it. It looked at my new phone, looked at the apps that I'd used, and realized I had not used TikTok in long enough, and just didn't download it.
yeah, that's
So-
fair.
That's a smartphone. We'll be back next week with more of the Really Big Fan Podcast.